on to our next session. So our second and middle section of the conference is the Enterprise Architecture stream. Here you will hear from the three leading architects, and they will talk about the role of architecture in delivering strategy in digital transformation programs. So to kick us off with this section, we have Judith O'Callaghan. With 20 plus years of SAP and digital transformation experience, Judith is a trusted advisor for ECC to S4HANA business transformations. She has led high-performing teams performing digital transformation programs that deliver exceptional results. Known for her collaborative approach, she blends ancient wisdom, neuroscience, positive psychology and strategy to ensure people's readiness and strategic alignment for successful transformations. So take it away, Judith.
Hello, Jackie, and thank you. And thank you, everyone. And Nigel, thank you for this opportunity. So my understanding of transformation here and the role of the architects, what you can do with this beautiful space, here is something I can share. So transformation as such is a journey into the unknown. All of us in a transformation are navigating the space of the unknown, and the beauty is in embracing the aspects of unknown and the challenges and everything else that comes with it. So the beauty of it is when we look at, I look at ancient wisdom as my go-to for learning. And when we look at the traders and how ancient traders navigated the world, or they literally circumvented the world. So how they navigated, they were based on very basic principles. And these principles have been really, really successful. So some of them I want to share with you as architects who will have the opportunity to influence this space are collaborating over compete. So most traders actually, when they worked with each other, they collaborated or they looked for opportunities to collaborate with what they had. So they rarely competed, but however, collaboration was their primary things. So there is so much to learn from this. And the other thing is the value of partnerships. So when we navigate our transformations, we partner with many people, known, unknown entities, and also partnering with ideas or embracing the ideas that will help us create the future. So value every partnership and see the outcome of every partnership in a very positive light. So this helps us uncover certain circumstances that are beyond us and uncover values that are much needed. So as business architects and enterprise architects, most of the time, we are looking for the value chain and we're looking for any aspect that would add value to this business. So these two principles, in my opinion, have been very successful and most architects can address to it. And the other thing in my area of work, which is the program delivery, what we often find is working beyond contracts. So in the commercial world, or especially in the Western commercial world, a lot of us are bound by contracts. So in some cases, going beyond the scope of the contract or going beyond the contract and working for the true value enables us to uncover results that is so much beyond us. We're looking at lasting relationships. We're looking at something deeper than contract that we can all connect to. Most importantly, it comes to the workforce or who we work with. So the interesting aspect of it in terms of the workforce, it is the capitalization of the tribal knowledge. So valuing everyone we work with and valuing the structures that are already there and capitalizing them enables us to create deeper value and unlock the tribal knowledge that is in us and around us. And this also helps us in determining the right mix that we need to be able to navigate the transformation. So these are some of the things that I would like us to think about and share. So with that one, I'm open for questions, Jackie. Thank you.
Wow, Judith. Absolutely incredible. And as Judith said, if anyone has any questions, please pop them in the chat or pop them in the Q&A box. I'm keeping my eye on both of them. But so a question's just come through from David. He said, how important is it for you that the business architecture domain artifacts are visible and requirements are correctly decomposed with traceability through vision, mission, strategy, value chain, business processes, and KPIs?
And this is an awesome question, David. So thank you for taking time to share this. So, in my opinion, anything that we do should align with the strategy. So, any artifacts that we create or any action we do or we choose not to do should align with vision, mission, and the strategy, and ultimately the value chain and the business processes. So, yeah, hopefully I have answered your question in a very circumvented way. But tip to any architects or any of us working in this, anything that we do, let's make sure it's aligned to the overall strategy. So as Nigel often says, most of the areas that we often walk into, we find that the strategy, the vision, mission are not very clear or even not documented in many organizations. That's where I think our puzzle actually starts, by asking those very basic questions that enable us to unlock those values. So if the strategy of the business is not very clear, it is very imperative that we find a way to help them get that strategy right as we embark on the next steps.
Hey, I had a question just along with that, because you're mentioning that. I remember in a recent presentation you did, you talked about that pause, having the need to have that pause in digital transformation. Now, I felt that was really good, and I can't really say it as well as what you can say, Judith. So could you explain, the need, how that works, and the need for the pause, and what you do in that pause? Yeah.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we recommend, it's a concept of the ancient wisdom. It's the conscious pause. So you take this conscious pause at strategic places or strategic stages to ensure that we are still on the right path. So this is more like sailors setting the sail and ensuring that it is set in the right, it is set right as we navigate into the unknown. So the concept is very simple. So take a deep breath, kind of thing. Take a pause at regular stages and validate 5 things. Who are we serving? Are we serving the right thing? And are we still continuing to work with the right people and work for the right people? And are we ensuring the outcome is achieving goals that are beyond us? So it's a very simple check that we can all undertake. It's a concept that we can undertake, and I'll pass this on to you, Nige, which can be passed along. So if we all take that deep breath and follow that simple concept, it enables us to achieve a lot more or unlock values that are beyond us.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
And so I have a question here, just following up from when you were mentioning about valuing the workforce. So we live in a very competitive world. The US elections had passionate people on both sides. Do you think it's achievable to get people to collaborate? And what are some of the best strategies to achieve this?
So the short answer is yes. I definitely believe that we all are tuned to collaborate. So as we look at our ancestors or people from the past, we lived in tribals, or we are basically tribals, or people living in groups united with a purpose. And that passion, as you say, can come up in different angles. We've seen that in US election. Both sides were passionate about about their goals and everything. So ultimately, it's the human desire to be connected with something that is beyond us. It is the purpose and vision that unites us. So especially in a workforce setting, everybody wants the good of the company, or everybody is in tune with the greater good. And when that good is understood and explained, it unites people in a very interesting way. So some of us who are attending this, and some of the colleagues of the industry, we have worked on this together. So there are 3 of the transformations that are very close to my heart, where I could see a lot of very different workforce coming together with a very strong purpose to be able to achieve what they want to. And in many cases, they went beyond what was needed. So yeah, definitely it is possible. And it is the human passion that unites all of us and brings the good in us together. Yeah.
Of course. Oh, here we go. We've got another question. So again, from David. Thank you, David, for all these questions. Judith, in your experience, where the organization cannot effectively vocalize its purpose, make it hard for everyone else downstream. I'm going to read that again. In your experience, where the organization cannot effectively vocalize its purpose, I'm assuming, does it make it hard for everyone else downstream? For instance, if we are putting in an ERP and the vision for the future is not clear, has this been tough on the solutions architects and others considering customizations and add-ins?
Yeah, and Dave, thank you again for this. You're touching a very important point here. So when the purpose of the organization is not clear or it cannot be articulated, it not only affects the leadership, but it affects everyone downstream. And we can see that in many places. So one of the main contributors for ERP transformation failures, so Gartner says it's 80%, and some people claim it's more than 85%. Either way, a lot of ERP transformations fail. So when we look at why they fail, it's because it comes to very simple things like the purpose and the vision wasn't clear or wasn't clearly articulated. Yes, it makes the job of business architects and solution architects, and again, downstream wise, multiple vendors working on it, very, very difficult. But as leaders of this forum, business architects, enterprise architects, it makes it very clear on our part, like how purpose, the strategy, the vision, all the big stuff are very important. So what we may be doing is very, very simple, but what we need to do is impacting so many along the line, especially those in those downstream. So let's take the time to define the purpose, vision, the strategy right before we undertake any transformation and increase its success.
Yeah, great. Now, you mentioned earlier valuing the workforce is a key ancient principle. Has there been a standout moment where this has been important and influential for a company?
Oh, yeah. So this is an example that I share in my YouTube forum all the time. So and it is close to my heart. So most of us may have heard it already. So I used to work for a company where they were in the process of outsourcing. So they went by the number of open tickets for any department as a measure to see how they can work through the structure of outsourcing. So one of the leaders raised a very important point, which is, for those departments which have less number of tickets, it may mean that something is being done right. But again, that comment wasn't taken seriously. But what happened was when the outsourcing thing happened and everything was right, one day there was a massive downtime that affected nearly everybody for more than 5 days. So as we went back, it came down to the tribal knowledge that was carried in a very specific department or very specific part of the organization, where the leaders were actually doing something which cannot be explained in words or which cannot be documented in a physical document. But that was the one thing that kept the organization and the system actually up. So the system uptime was somehow indirectly linked with that specific tribal knowledge that was held there. So it taught me a very important lesson in my life, and it has I've cherished it as I progressed in my career. So valuing every knowledge that is hidden in the ecosystem. There is wisdom in us and around us. It is up to us to unlock that value and use it to make the world a better place.
I really love how this is so grounded in those tribal traditions and just coming back to the basics that are all instilled in us on a organic and natural level. I think it's absolutely incredible, the work and the message that you're sharing. We do
Absolutely.
have another question here from AP. So Judith, when queried by other stakeholders in the business or even IT, particularly those that are immature with regard to architecture, What is the value that you deliver as an enterprise or business architect in your organization? How do you answer?
This is a good question, AP, and thank you. So I would probably go back to the very basics that Nigel and Wendy taught me much earlier in my life, which is as a business architect or an enterprise architect, the primary job is to unlock and uncover the value. And that is beyond all the bells and whistles, that is the value that we bring to the table. So, yeah, that is my take on it. Yes.
Awesome. And another question here. What drives you in a leadership role, and how do you align as a leader in EA space between your personal purpose and organization's purpose?
And this is again a great question. So, as an individual or a leader, my purpose is to, I believe my purpose is to make the world a better place, and digital transformation is my vehicle of choice. So, in my role, I genuinely believe the purpose of making this world better drives me, and that helps me in the world of digital transformation. So, being aligned to my purpose, I believe we can unlock or we can see a lot of value, hidden value, and help our clients unlock them and embrace what is to come. We have a beautiful opportunity here in this world.
Thank you so much. So that is all the Q&A questions. If anyone has any other questions that they'd like to add, please pop them in the Q&A box or the chat. And I think Nigel's coming in with another question.
Oh yeah, I was just popping in again because I actually thought, Jackie, and this seems to be because of your questions and off the cuff sort of you actually really relate to this bit quite well. Yeah, and I noticed that, and I think because it is based on some historical sort of principles and everything else. But I was going to just throw in a real tough question for you, Judith. So say, and I talked about some challenges. I brought some challenges up and things like not delivering people-centered services and just putting services out there for people to have rather than having that collaboration and how does your approach help us more in tune deliver what we need to in digital transformation projects rather than deliver what we want to give them and not necessarily what they desire, I guess.
So again, thank you, Nigel. It's a very thought through question. So, having that open mind enables us to connect beyond boundaries. So boundaries could be, the roles, or could be who we represent, or it could be anything. So being very open and enables us to connect beyond the constraints that we are, and we are able to see the value through those connections. And yes, it encourages a lot of dialogue once we are connected, and we uncover value chains or blocks that we can pursue. And then the conversation to the leadership or to the client or to anyone else becomes much easier when we as a team are very aligned and we are very open to the outcomes that we can potentially provide to that client, and the conversation again becomes meaningful, and we are all in a position to help the clients in the right way. And sometimes it is always a challenge to get the buy-in from the right people at the right levels. And again, by working together and pulling all our energies together, we are able to have those conversations. So yeah, let's work together and unlock those values.
Yeah, definitely can understand that, and it's really not rocket scientist, and it's science. Sorry, not scientist, science. Because I think I've mentioned this before. It's not necessarily something we're not discovering gold or anything today, but what we're trying to do is bring together some of these points. And interestingly, they are not being implemented out there. Like it's consultation, collaboration, not working in silos. It just happens all the time that people do work in silos. So it definitely, I appreciate what you've said today. It's been really, really useful, and seeing you in a couple of presentations has been useful as well. So it's been great.
Thank you, Naj.
Just
And
going
there
on
is a
from
question.
that. Oh, sorry, you go, Judith.
Sorry, there was a question that came through.
Yes,
Jackie?
in the Q&A box, yes. So from Arga, very often in IT organizations, we see technology driving the transformation. How do you address the lack of properly defined business architecture, which seems to be the base building block for all other domains?
So very good question again, Aga. And this is a common challenge I think we as leaders are addressing. A lot of transformations have started as IT initiatives, and overall we can see a lot of failure is also contributed by the fact that transformations are started as IT initiatives. So this is again an important point to address, because for organizations it's about education on the importance of business importance of business architecture, enterprise architecture, and overall the need for strategy to be driving that, not IT in the front seat all the time. Yes, technology is an enabler, but again, it's not going to give us the results we need if we are not organized. So sometimes it's about having that hard conversations with the leaders as needed, and in a position to explain the value that business architecture and the enterprise architecture would bring. And it is not a simple activity or a simple exercise. What I would definitely say is, get some friends aligned and get people like Nige to be able to have that conversation with the organizations that, who need to hear this. Because many colleagues or many organizations are willing to listen from others. So others who have been through the journey. So identify other organizations or other similar organizations who have been through the journey and help them articulate the importance of business architects doing their job to help them there.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And I think that is all the Q&A's done for now. So Judith, coming from a communication background myself, I feel as though we have just drifted so far from the base, what is so ingrained in us on such an organic level. And it's really beautiful to see you come on here and speak about human connection and collaboration and valuing partnerships and all of those things that really mean that we're just taking it back to the foundation, the bones. And once we've solidified those foundations, it's then that you can utilize these amazing other vessels that will help you achieve the desired outcome for the team, the organization, the business. But as long as we're grounded in those the foundations of human connection and communication, I think you can't go wrong, right?
Absolutely. And this is the humanness that is making us who we are. So let's go back to the basics.
Absolutely. So, just got a comment here from this one. I'm so sorry if I've mispronounced that. Great humanly tribal discussion, Judith. Thank you so much for your time and insights. So would anyone like to add anything or ask Judith anything? I'm opening it up to obviously the conference attendees and any of the panelists. Great session. Thanks, Judith. Yeah, this has been absolutely awesome. Nige, any last comments?
No, that's great. I think we can move on. But Judith, thanks again for coming on today. Very appreciative, and like I said, I'll return the favor soon because you do have many things. So if you get a chance to see some of Judith's work and her conferences and webinars that she does, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually just going to slip in one last question because this is a great question from AP. So AP has asked, I find it very tiresome that as an EA/BA that we always have to sell ourselves and our value before we start. What is the best way, in your opinion, to overcome this?
This is, again, I think Nigel, you'll have a better answer than me on this one. So the way I see it is sometimes we have to do the hard yards and make the world better for those to come. So think of this as you are making a pathway for those who are coming, like pathway easier for those who are coming after us. Yes, the world needs to know the value at the moment of the enterprise EAs and the BAs who are in this space. So we as a community need to do that together, and let's demonstrate values for the business. Let's create more case studies, and let's lift each other up. And as a result, a rising tide rises all the boats. So we all do it collectively together.
Amazing. Well, Judith, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure it's obvious I've absolutely loved your session. So yeah, thank you for your time and sharing your knowledge. Thank you.
Pleasure.